this module, you will learn about germs, the diseases they spread, and how to prevent them. Most of the time. But sometimes we can feel very sick. This is because.
Now, what is there that every day we are doing our work, we are studying, we are doing all kinds of work, we are having food, and we think that we are healthy. But at times, what happens? We feel sick. Either we are having a headache, we are having a cough. So, why this sudden change is there? Or we feel we are having a stomach ache, or we feel little that fever is there. Why it is so? It is because of a disease. Now, what is a disease?
There are germs around us. Germs live everywhere. They can be found in air, in unclean water, and in all kinds of dirt in our surroundings.
Now, why suddenly we feel sick, we are not active? That is because of the disease. And these diseases are caused by the germs. Now, what are the germs? The germs are those type of particles which are present all around us. They are in the air, they are in the water, in food, in our surroundings, and some germs are there in our body also. But we cannot see these germs, and these germs can be seen only through the microscope.
You'll be surprised to know that germs can also live inside our bodies and the bodies of animals. They can do so because they are parasitic and can live in the body cells and use them to multiply.
Now, as these germs are present all around us, the germs are present in our body, in the body of the animals, then how we suffer from any kind of disease. Now, first of all, what is a disease? A disease is a condition in which our body does not work properly as it is supposed to work. If there is an infection or a disease in the lungs, then what happens? A person does not breathe properly because the function of the lungs is help in breathing. So if that germs are growing in our lungs, then they will cause the breathing problem. Now, how these germs they cause a disease? Because these germs they live on some other kind of body. They require some body to grow. So if these germs are growing either on the birds or in our surroundings, they require something to grow. So there, what happens when the germs are there? They start multiplying. Same way, if any kind of germs, it enters our body. So it starts growing into our body. It starts multiplying in number because our body is getting all kinds of nutrients in the form of food, and even our blood is getting the oxygen also. So they get all kinds of food, the germs, from our body. And when the number of these germs that increases in the human body, then these germs they cause a disease or any condition.
Germs are disease-causing microorganisms. They are also called pathogens. Now,
The germs are called microorganisms. What do you mean by microorganisms? Organisms means any kind of living thing, and micro means very minute. Minute means very small, which we cannot see with our eyes.
Now, you must be wondering, what is a disease? Well, when some important functions of the body get disturbed and the person becomes ill, this condition is called as a disease. Diseases and germs affect the body in particular ways. Each case will be observed.
Now, disease is caused by the germs. Now, the disease germs, the germs that cause any kind of disease, they affect our body in many ways. If the germs, they enter into the body, there are different symptoms which are seen. Like if we are having a cold, immediately what happens? The running nose is there. The nose starts running off. You start sneezing. Coughing is there. And when this increases, many times the fever is there. Now suddenly the fever is there. Everything, nothing is there, but only you are feeling a fever is there because the temperature of our body has changed.
As symptoms of the disease. For example, the cause of common cold is a virus. This virus affects the throat and lungs of the person. This is why we have runny nose and cough when we have common cold. Essentially, the person having common cold knowledge and experiences stools 7 times a day.
Now, how you have a condition, an abnormal condition of cough or cold because the germs that causes the cold and the cough from our nose, they enter into our lungs, and when they multiply in the lungs, then the lungs get affected and the running nose is there, coughing is there. Same way, if we have eaten a contaminated food, a spoiled food, then what happens? We suffer from food poisoning. So then again, because the contaminated food was carrying the germs, and those germs, they have caused the food poisoning. What happens in the food poisoning? Stomach ache is there, loose motions are there, vomitings are there.
Doctors observe and study the symptoms of a disease to find out which disease the patient is suffering from.
Now what happens when we suffer any kind of, we feel some change is there in our body, a headache is there, or we feel fever is there, or too much of coughing is there, then what we do? We go to the doctor, because the doctor is the one who can examine us, who can check us, who can tell us what kind of disease we are suffering from, and accordingly he gives us the medicine.
There are 2 types of diseases: communicable and non-communicable diseases.
Okay, the diseases can be divided into 2 main groups. In our videos, which I have already uploaded, that also we have done that the diseases are divided into 2 groups. Number 1 is communicable diseases and second is non-communicable diseases. Now, communicable diseases, if you will understand the word, if you know the word communicate, communication. What do you mean by the word communication? That whatever we are talking, that message is going to the others. What we want to say, it goes. If you are talking to your teacher, that is also a way of communication. Same way, communicable disease is a disease that spreads from one person to another. If one person is suffering from a disease, and if that disease the another person catches, that disease is called the communicable disease. Now these days, that is why it said that we are everywhere people are suffering from COVID-19. So it's a communicable disease.
Communicable diseases are also called infectious diseases. They can be transferred.
Now these communicable diseases, the another name of communicable diseases, we can call them as infectious diseases. Infectious. Why they are called infectious? Because it spreads from one person to another.
From a sick person to a healthy person. For example,
now what was there? This communicable disease, how it spreads. A healthy person is there and he comes in contact with a sick person. Then the germs from the sick persons, they get transferred to the healthy person. Now tell me how. How from a sick person the germs they get transferred to a healthy person? It can be because of many reasons. One is we call it as the direct contact. The direct contact means if you are coming in contact with him, either if you are near to that person, the sick person, the germs you will catch the germs. If he's sneezing, that sick person is sneezing or coughing, then the germs will be into the air, and from the air, that same air we are breathing, and from the air those germs will go into our body. Or if we touch him, we hug him, we share the things with him. If you are using his stall, his handkerchiefs, his materials, then also we get the disease. So this is called the direct contact. Another is through food and water. If we are having a contaminated food, if we have gone for a party and that food is contaminated, it's spoiled one, and in the functions or in the parties, what happens? So many people are there. And when they have that spoiled food or the contaminated food, then so many people, they get sick, they get food poisoning. So this is also a communicable disease. A polluted water, again that water, if we'll drink, it spreads. Then the communicable diseases are spread through the insects also, like the dengue. It spreads from the mosquito. The mosquito bites a person, a healthy person. Then from the healthy person, he bites an unhealthy person who is sick. And what will happen? He'll suck the blood, and the germs of the unhealthy person, the sick person, will get into the mosquito, and this mosquito, if it bites into the another healthy person, the healthy person will get sick. So this is the way the communicable diseases, they spread from one person to another.
common cold, cholera, tuberculosis, and typhoid are communicable diseases.
Now these are some common communicable diseases. Your common cold, cholera, tuberculosis. Now this tuberculosis is related with the lungs. Continuous coughing for so many days. Now cholera is caused by the contaminated water and food. Typhoid, again, water and food. Now in cholera and typhoid, it is the fever, high fever will be there, vomitings will be there, shiverings will be there.
A person suffering from a communicable disease might sometimes be shipped to a hospital for proper care.
Now, normally, for the communicable diseases, if you are suffering from a cold, we go to the doctor gives us some medicines, and we are going to the school, we are meeting everyone, but only the thing, we are taking care of ourselves. So many times the communicable diseases, they get cured at the home only. But at times when these communicable diseases, they become too much and at home proper care is not taken, then at that time the person, means the patient, is shifted to the hospital. He gets admitted in the hospital so that he gets proper care and attention, and he is under the regular guidance of the doctor, and there he gets all the kinds of treatment there, and he gets cured.
Non-communicable diseases cannot spread from an infected person to a healthy person. Because
Now this is the main difference between, now see, the next is the non-communicable diseases. So communicable diseases are the diseases that spread from one person to another. Now, the non communicable diseases are the diseases that do not spread from one person to another. Even if a person is suffering from any kind of disease, in non communicable diseases, even if you'll touch, you'll share the things, the non communicable disease will not be transferred to the another person. So, this is the main difference between communicable disease and non-communicable disease. That one spreads from one person to another, that is communicable disease. The disease that do not spread from one person to another is non-communicable disease. Now, why is it so? Because the communicable disease, that spreads through germs, whereas the non-communicable diseases do not spread through germs. And the examples, we have already done it in the previous video, that the non-communicable diseases can be spread, not spread, but they are caused by malnutrition when there is less of nutrients, or the deficiency disease. The malnutrition and the deficiency diseases, they fall into non-communicable diseases. Along with it, the heart disease, the diabetes, the disease of the thyroid, the anemia, they are all the non-communicable diseases.
these diseases are not caused by germs. Some examples of non-communicable diseases are diabetes, cancer, and heart disease. Some non-communicable diseases can be passed from one generation to another.
Now, it's there, the some of the non-communicable diseases, they spread from one generation to another. Just wait. Now, what is the generation? That it is passed from our family, from our grandparents to parents, from parents to us.
A child could inherit a non-communicable disease from his or her parent.
Now, anything you want to ask, because about the communicable diseases we have done. Now, the question is there. If you are able to see it on your screen, very good. Just press the raise button for the answer. The question is drag and drop in the correct categories. The two categories are communicable diseases, and the second category is non-communicable diseases. The options are can be passed from the sick to the healthy, can be passed from parent to child, is caused by germs, includes heart disease.
Ma'am, second one can be passed from parent to in communicable diseases.
No, from parent to child, it will be in parent to child.
Ma'am, non-communicable.
See, parent to, yes, non-communicable.
Ma'am.
Yes, Jatin, next option. Tell.
Ma'am, germs.
Germs will go where?
Ma'am, communicable diseases.
Yes. So, includes heart disease will go into non-communicable disease.